Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Warships with Ungainly Titan. And this game is really hard. I spent 3 days, 3 pretty strong days playing World of Warships to try and get a decent game that I thought, would be a decent game that I could show and say, yeah, I've had a decent game of World of Warships. Didn't really manage it, which is why I'm blathering on this way at the moment. And the other thing, of course, is that it's now 3 weeks from the time this video goes live. It's Tuesday, 16th of April. World of Warships Legends will go live. Now, I didn't manage to get into either of the betas. I think the first beta weekend, was there a question about broadband or something like that? I'm not sure whether that was that or the super test, but I know I didn't get into the first beta weekend, and I didn't get into this one, which is a bit of a disappointment. I also didn't actually watch the beta live stream or any part of it because I was actually busy playing World of Warships to try and get a decent game for you guys. I kind of initially thought, okay, a decent game would be I was mostly playing the Destroyers, the Wicks and the Samson, mostly the Wicks. And I thought a decent game, I'll come top by experience in a winning game in a survivor and survive. That was, I think, pretty much impossible. I didn't manage to do that at all. Friday, halfway through the session, I would say anywhere in the top 3 in a winning game, whether I survive or not. Now, I think I did manage that, but I decided to show this particular game anyway because actually it's an exciting enough game. It was an exciting enough game to play. But the other thing is that I began to realise that when I was playing the games, I started paying more attention to scoring, and I was just looking at the scoring tips at the start and how you win the various types of game. Now, as far as I can tell, there are 2 major game modes. There's domination and standard battle. And I seem to see domination matches more often than I see standard battles. Standard battles seem to have 2 cap circles, one of which is controlled by each team. You flip the cap circle and you win the game, just like in World of Tanks. The domination modes, the cap circles start out uncontested, and you flip the cap circles, you gain points for each of the cap circles you control. And there's another one with 4 cap circles. I'm not sure whether it's a different mode or whether it's just another domination type game. And they start out with control of 2 cap circles, and then there's 2 neutral cap circles that you can gain control of. But the thing that really struck me over that intense session of play, because I was actually seeking to do it, I was trying to get a ship at top of the experience, is just how hard it is to get a ship top of experience. Whereas in World of Tanks, if you play 100 games of World of Tanks, you'll get quite a lot of them where you'll be top in experience, pretty much without necessarily being a very good player. I know certainly that when I was playing World of Tanks at the start, when I was a terrible player, I was quite often had games where I was top by experience. I think I got the MVP achievement very early on. It wasn't a difficult achievement to get, where I was top by experience and still alive at the end of the match. But doing this in World of Warships is really challenging, and certainly I think the only time I've been top by experience was in the Wicks in a losing game. And top by experience in a losing game is generally easier than top experience in a winning game, because you don't have to know what you're doing to be top by experience on a losing game. You can be top by experience in a losing game simply by being less of an idiot than every other idiot in your team. So this particular struggle caused me to pay a little bit more attention to the startup screens when it tells you how to play the game, what it is the objective is in the particular game. So when you look at the startup screens, you have 3 or 4 tabs. So one of them is the team roster, which shows the different ships on both sides. The other one is usually a tip. There's a 4th tab, I can't remember what it is, and then there is a kind of playing the game tab, which indicates, shows you the map layout, shows you where the cap circles are, and it has something like, say, for the domination game, I think it is 2 points for each cap circle, well, for the cap circles controlled every 5 seconds. So each team gets 2 points every 5 seconds for the cap circles that they control. But there's another bit that I thought, I thought, this is very interesting, because I hadn't really paid attention to it before now. And that is the points for sinking ships. So if you sink an enemy ship, you gain some points. You gain 30 points for a destroyer, 35 points for a cruiser, 40 points for a battleship, and 45 points for a carrier. That's what you gain. Your team gains it. So green team goes up that much by sinking a ship. However, if your team loses a destroyer, it loses 45 points. If it loses a cruiser, it loses 50 points. If it loses a battleship, it loses 60 points. And if it loses a carrier, it loses 65 points. And all of a sudden, I remember watching, mostly when I watch World of Warships, to be honest with you, I mostly watch Jingles. He'll have 2 or 3 World of Warships videos a week, and I don't watch huge amounts of YouTube, and I kind of go in fits and starts. I watch some bits more than others at times, depending on what takes my interest. But I don't just watch gameplay as well. I watch there's people who do HEMA videos and history videos and stuff like that. I watch these guys as well. But he complains a lot about battleships hanging around the corner of the map and not getting stuck into the fight. But I now understand why they're doing it. And it's not just, what you call it, yes, they are weaker players. Yes, there's a big penalty for risking your ship and not pulling it off, so to speak. So if we look at the situation right now, if I lose my ship right now, it would cost my team, well, actually right now is a bad time because the enemy have just lost a ship. But at a moment ago there we were around 300 and they were around 200. And if I had lost my ship at that moment in time, I'd have switched the score by whatever it was, 80 points? 85 points. So we would have gone from 300 down to 315, and they would have gone from 200 to 235, say. So the thing is, it makes the game, we would have made the game more attainable from their point of view. Now as it was, they lost a ship, so we went from like 380, whatever it was, to 430 or 450, and they went from 200 to like 146 or whatever it is they're at, 140 or something, or whatever they're at the moment. So actually losing a ship can make the game a lot more unattainable. It's much more significant than losing a tank in World of Tanks. Whereas if you lose a tank in World of Tanks, you're down in your force structure. You lose a ship in World of Warships, you're down in your force structure, and you have a bigger hill to climb in the terms of the points you need to gain to win the match. So this is a major consideration, and this is something that I'm going to have to take into account in my gameplay. It means that if my team is losing, for instance, and I'm one of the weaker players, which I am, I will be, I should be a lot more careful about my ship. It's more important if my team is behind, in some respects, for me to try and continue doing damage, but taking less risks with my ship. Now, if I was one of the good players, I suppose I would have a better idea of what risks I can take and how to, shall we say, minimize the risk to my ship, while at the same time maximizing the effectiveness of my ship. So this is a kind of skill you're going to have to master, and the hill you're going to have to climb, because the thing is that if you're down on points, the only way to claw back is to kill enemy ships. Otherwise, you simply cannot catch up. You've got to even the ship balance, and the bigger the imbalance between the two sides, the harder and harder it is to win. Now effectively what's happened here is that we've gained control of this cap circle. Or, well, we're the only ships in this cap circle. We've eliminated the enemy ships defending this cap circle. The remaining enemy cruisers are too far away to interdict us. So the only people that can actually make an effort here are the enemy carriers, and they're actually doing their damnedest. But as it turns out, they haven't been able to stop us from capturing the cap circle, and it was a nearly impossible task. There was almost no way of catching up. Because they were behind on ships. It probably wouldn't be. It's probably why the domination mode is more common, because the domination mode probably gives you a better chance of catching up, because you might be able to slip into capture circles that are not part of the focus of the battle. Running away and hiding is an option if you're ahead on points, and just let the clock wind the clock down to win. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. If you've not already done so, please subscribe. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.